It was surreal. It was I'm glad to explain it. Like it was very it was very reminiscent of my competing days. You know what I mean? So that was like a fun thing. The parents that never wrestled before, and they're kind of hard on the kids. It's good to try it to see what the kid's going through. So at least you can understand what he's going through, right? Like
Yes.
and some guys I asked if like, oh, you've never wrestled before, you should maybe try grappling, try a grappling class to understand like exactly what's going on. But you know, I definitely don't think everybody needs to compete, but if they feel the urge, I think like you only live once, you should scratch it.
Welcome back to another Lugo show. Before we get into this video, we're gonna shout out the sponsors. Alafea, really good soap brand I love to use. Ever since I started using them, never had a problem with ringworm or anything. But we have a special guest today, the one and only Coach Steve Mocco. Coach, how you doing?
Good. How's it going, guys?
Going good, going good. I'm just gonna get right into it. Let's talk about RAF. How long has it been since the last time you competed? And how did that feel?
Uh,
Yeah, RAF.
it was a lot of fun. I mean, they did a great job. It was really fun leading up to it, and the whole thing was awesome. It was a lot of fun.
Nice. I think it was pretty cool that they put us in the same locker room. We were in there, and it felt like an Iowa wrestling locker room. We had you, the old generation, and me, like, and then DeSanto sitting there, Sorensen. I think it was pretty cool. And then your son going to Iowa as well. So I think that was pretty cool as well. One thing that I saw in the locker room before I went out to compete was you and your boys, or how tight you guys were, and the special bond you guys had together. How did it feel to have them in a corner while you were competing?
Man, it was surreal in a way, right? It definitely was fun. It's been a while since I competed, um, but it was really cool. Like we've been on the other end of that a lot of times, so it seemed pretty natural, and it was just interesting that it was like the roles were reversed. That was cool.
So it's interesting that you talk about that role reverse because that was one of the things I was very lucky to be in the locker room helping Pat get ready, helping DeSanto get ready. And I saw, you come in out after your match because you were the opening act, which I thought very well wrestled, very entertaining match. And it was a pleasure to meet you, by the way. But one thing that really stood out to me was, once you got in there, what your boys got in there, you guys started analyzing the match. You started breaking down the match. You even asked them, you're like, "Hey, what did you guys see?" And your oldest, Michael Mako, took the role of coach. And like in that moment, I'm seeing him as like some college coach coaching some like national champions. But he's just sitting there talking like, "This is what I saw." Man, you were getting to your elbow passes, and he used a phrase that I'm gonna start using going forward. My like, "Hey, your feet didn't follow." Like how was that being able to, be able to sit there and, just analyze a match? Like, I think you would have done the same win or lose, but how was that being able to sit there and analyze a match from almost like I said, how was that roles reversed? How was that feeling? That seems so cool.
It was pretty natural. It was cool. He was real good. He was real good about it. He did a good job the whole night. So did Petey. We do it regularly. We do it regularly. It was seemed pretty natural. There was never a point where I was like felt like it was like all right, let me flip this or anything. I think it was just like regular conversation in the environment that we're in at that moment in time.
Yeah.
When you first got the text message or call to go at RAF, how did it feel? Like, what did you get any type of feelings? I know when I got that text, I like my whole body I was just nervous. I started getting nervous. I started having that fear again. But how did you feel when you got the call?
And I was actually like on my way um to overseas. Like I was going to France, and I was in France for like 2 or 3 days. Like there was a lot of downtime, like where you're in the hotel room and stuff. Obviously, I talked to them back and forth a couple times, and then I'm kind of like sitting on it in the hotel,
Mhm.
and I was like, man, like the time keeps ticking, the time keeps kicking it. And I was like, on the way home, as soon as I got reception, I'm like, I'm calling these guys. I got to do this, you know? So, I mean, it was a lot of downtime from like the first time I talked to them, 4 days went by. And then I was like, oh, I want to nail this down, you know, kind of like that.
Nice. And when was the last time you competed? Was that for Iowa or was that for Okie State? I can't
The
remember.
last, the last time I competed was, in wrestling was the 2012 Olympic team trials.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah. So that was, I wasn't, I was out of college at that point, but it was, the Olympic team trials in 2012. I fought after that, but that was the
Mhm.
last time I wrestled.
Okay. Yeah, I remember seeing a couple of your fights. I think on YouTube. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
How
What
did you feel? How did
uh
you feel in your match? Like, so like I said, from me watching backstage, watching the monitor, you looked really good. It didn't look like it was very many moves away from you walking away with the victory. I think your son's really, hit it very perfectly. Like, there's just a couple occasions where, your feet didn't follow or you would have been in the best position. How do you feel, coming back and looking back at it, sure, watching tape?
I felt great. Like I felt good. I did notice a couple times I did not take advantage. Like my feet didn't come with me. Like I saw the door open, but by the time like I was gonna like go, the opportunity already had kind of passed, you know. But I think that's due court, you know, do with my age and everything. I don't think it was like necessarily I performed that bad. Um Obviously, like hats off to my opponent. He did a great job and he scored when he could have, you know, like not taking anything away from him. You know, like I really hope I get to do it again. I hope I get another match. I feel like it was good to get that done, and now like kind of know what to expect and know what I'm working with. So I'll try to adjust on my gamemanship and style. But you know, I think it's awesome, man. It's awesome. It was a lot of fun. They're a great organization to be part of. Um, you know, obviously I lost the match, but I felt like it was still a good experience in a way. I'm not like in the heart of competing like as if I was in my prime, and I'm used to trying to like coach and look at the benefits of it, and I definitely enjoyed myself the whole thing, start to finish.
Well, you answered my next question because I was gonna ask if there was gonna be we are gonna see the bear return at RAF. Because like one of my favorite interviews is someone trying to ask you like, "Oh, are you retired?" And you're like, "Did I leave my shoes on the mat?" And like that's my attitude. People are like, "Are you still competing?" I'm like, "Have you ever seen me put my shoes on the mat?" Like I'll let you know. So like I'm glad that we're gonna see you competing again at Raft.
Yeah, no, if an opportunity comes and they offer me, for sure I would do it. It was a blast.
did your schedule change at all? Like when you started training? Were you like coaching less and focusing more on training or how did that look? How did that plan out?
I mean, I kind of found out pretty. It wasn't that long. I don't know if that's probably a good thing for me, you know, but it wasn't like I had, you know, wasn't like too necessary of a change. You know, I kind of found out a week or 2 weeks before, you know, so there was a little bit of a change, not too much. I started doing a little bit more freestyle, training with wrestling shoes more often than I had in the past. Obviously, I wrestle with Michael 3 times a week, but I started like any MMA sessions I did, I'd put shoes on just to kind of get the feel of it and stuff. But it wasn't too big of a change, you know. Just kind of like the idea of it changed. The idea that you're going to be the one wrestling and not helping, you know. That was a bit of a change, but in a good way. It was a fun change, you know, a challenging change.
I know a lot of coaches would have probably said no to that RAF experience, to that RAF match, but you didn't, and I think just by you going out there showed just like a lot of courage and passion for the sport. So I think it was awesome that you were out there. I think it was awesome for the fans to be out there and just to watch everyone just like Team Florida. I think a lot of us were there.
Yeah.
So it felt good.
No, I was like my boys were obviously there in the corner, but like most of our club was there. So I think it definitely was like a fun thing, you know. It was definitely a an interesting setup. You know, and a lot of kids from Florida all around, like your guys. A lot of kids from all over the state were there. I noticed it at the thing when we came in and we were signing the, you know, like before the event, they had that
Yeah,
line, and we were
the
like
fan zone, the
the
fans.
fan zone. That's right, yeah, the fan
Yeah, yeah.
zone. And then it's just it kind of dawned on me like, oh yeah, these are all Floridians, you know, and it was in Florida. You know, we were lucky to be on it. Like there's no, it'd be awesome if there was like, you know, Miami had D1 wrestling or, but that was a big wrestling show. Any one of those kids that were there to see that level wrestling would have to get on an airplane, you know. So it was a blessing all around, and you know, our kids really enjoyed it. Like, obviously, Michael and Peter were there in the corner, but like even our club kids all enjoyed it and they had a good time. They got to watch Pat Russell. They got to watch a lot of guys that they see follow online wrestle. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I felt that, especially when you said it was a blessing. Definitely felt like a blessing. When I started looking at at it as a blessing, the nerves will go away. 'Cause I was getting nervous a lot. I feel like a lot of what it was of me not being prepared I used to in the past. But then it's just, you know, the love for the sport. You kind of like get over that stuff.
Are you gonna come back to competition outside of RAF?
I mean, yeah, outside of RAF, no, I don't know about that. But
The
I think about
trials or anything? Or the US
well,
Open?
maybe I said jujitsu. I thought about doing jujitsu, so
Oh, right
do
on, right on. That'd be cool.
yeah, doing that and but I don't think I'll be going back to the trials or
To the
try.
trials, no, the circuit, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I think RAF and this other thing's good, and I can coach too, so I love to do that stuff
Yeah, you're coaching full time.
for
But
sure, for sure.
it's cool in a way because you it was fun to watch you compete too, because it was like, you know, you're another guy that spends most of his time coaching and to see how you handled it, like the whole thing, your preparation and the hotel the week of, I got to spend some time with you, man. It was very impressive, all you guys.
Yeah, I appreciate that for sure. It was awesome, definitely awesome. I think they're gonna come back and do it in Tampa. That's what I've heard.
That's awesome, man. That'd be good.
Yeah, that'd be awesome again. How does it? Yeah, how does it feel to have Michael going to Iowa? Obviously you're alumni there, and how's it feel for that to happen?
And it was a lot of different variables that happened. Obviously, I have a good relationship with the guys there. You know, I was coached by Terry and Tom, but you know, they're both really good guys. It really didn't have too much with me. You know, it had to do a lot more with Michael. I'd like to say it was like, oh, I told him to do it, but no, it wasn't too much the what happened. It was like he was in a great situation. You know, he had a lot of great programs and a lot of great coaches that were interested into him. And I like I said just like write down the positives and negatives, but like I think more important than that is when you go there and you visit and you're around, like where you feel the most comfortable is probably the right answer. So I tried to like back off on like go to this school or that school or what's best. I just kind of let it like kind of play out. I didn't think like outside, you know, like you know, as an adult or as father on that side, I'm like, so it's a good problem to have, right? Like picking a school that wants you, you know. So, but he really did feel comfortable. Like he felt comfortable at Iowa. We went out there. He took the visit. Um, he felt he felt really comfortable. He got along really good with the kids. The facilities, obviously, like you can't. Nobody could talk about that. You know, it's just like
Yeah.
the best that I've ever seen. You know, but I was super comfortable with his decision too because I know, like, I have a good. I kind of know those guys, and they're great people, man. From the time they get up in the morning till the time they go to bed, they want the best for their athletes, and you could see it how they handle their business. You know, they're not fun to compete against. You know, so if you know most of the people out there are competing against them, they're gonna you know say the negative sides of them. But I competed against them, and I competed for them, and when you compete for them, it's a special thing. Like it's very important to them. You could see it and feel it as an athlete. And looking at it on the sidelines, I'm very comfortable sending my son to them.
Nice. Absolutely. I understand 100% with being comfortable with that. They're awesome guys. I love them. I probably go like twice a year to Iowa just to go train or something. But is there was there any other schools that were interested in Michael, or was it Iowa and a few others?
He really liked Ohio State, and he really liked Penn State. They were great programs, historic programs, great coaches. But at the end of the day, he felt the most comfortable at Iowa, and I told him like, you're the one who's going to school there, so like, I think that's wherever you feel the most comfortable is the right choice, and I was comfortable with it too. His mother was comfortable with it too, and we're really looking forward to it. We're looking forward to his journey there.
So what do you think your involvement is going to be with Michael going forward in Iowa? Like, I'm sure if you just said to the Iowa, like, hey, I'm going to be coming up there and be working with, I'm sure they'd help you open arms. But are you planning on staying more in Florida with ATT and helping Peter through his journey through the FHSAA ranks?
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm probably going to be there, as much as I can. Like if I got time to get there, I'll be there. I'm definitely gonna stay in Florida and help Peter and the rest of our kids and our MMA team. Like, it's not like I'm gonna move to Iowa City with him or anything like that. Obviously, I have 5 other kids, so and I really love what I'm doing. I love it, and I trust those guys. I trust them, and I think that they're great coaches, and I experienced it as an athlete. I know they get the most out of you, so I'm really looking forward to spending as much time with them as I can, but him being there and being part of that program.
How long have you been with the wrestling club for? How long has Mocco Wrestling Club been going?
We started in 2016, I think.
Mm. And talk about how did that like all happen? Like what made you decide to do a wrestling club?
Well, I was fighting for the gym, and went to a few clubs as the kids were getting older. They had been doing jujitsu, and they kind of like, we went to a wrestling tournament. I was like, oh, you guys should start training wrestling. So like, they competed in the wrestling tournament, just had been doing jujitsu. So we went to some other clubs, in our area. There's really good people there. You know, but I felt like a lot of them were far, and I also wanted to get back involved. I wanted to be part of it a little bit more than I had been, and I wasn't fighting nothing anymore. I was just like coaching MMA. So I was like, I think there could be a need for this. So that's kind of was like the catalyst of us starting. And for the first year, we only did 1 day a week. We only did Sundays. Um, the next year we went to like 2 days a week. We did like Sunday and Friday, and then by the third year we were pretty much going. We had, we slowed down a little bit during COVID. Obviously, everybody did, but then after that, it kind of was like pretty regularly now. Now it's like we do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and we show up like 5:30 to 7. Practice usually ends at 7, and then from 7 to 7:30, guys can do what they want. They can condition, drill, work, but we do those 3 days, and we're not really affiliated with a high school. I mean, obviously, my boys go to Givens, but we draw from all over, and the youth, the junior high and elementary age groups. So we have kids at any random practice, can be 4 or 5 different high schools there. And during the season, like, I help the boys at Gibbons, but I try my best to like stay out of the high school kind of scene, and work more on the club side of it.
That's
When
gotta
freestyle
that's got
season kicks in, we do more.
Well, I mean, that's gotta be hard, because, you being such a prolific wrestler, like, I'm sure everybody wants your attention and if, like, you were like, "I'm just gonna come in and do this," they would be more than willing to let you, but, that how hard is that to play that boundary? Because I know one of my favorite, pictures of Cale Sanderson is him at his kid's club tournament or practice, just sitting there in the bleachers watching, like, he's like, "This is my job right now." Like, and that has to be such a hard I know for me, like, I'm a, decent enough wrestler, and that's hard enough for me sometimes. Like, it has to be very hard for you as, to sit there and be like, I have to let somebody else coach my kids. How did you develop that,
I mean,
growing as a
we're
father?
kind of really lucky. We're really lucky. We got good people at their school. They got the Morris twins there. They helped them a lot. They have a bunch of really good coaches that help the Morris twins. So like we're in a good situation. They still come to club. The boys are still at club like 3 days a week. And they train with their school too. So and that goes for most of the high school kids. Like most of our high school kids, like our core kids, will go to their practice and then come to club at night, you know. And a lot of them, will adjust, like especially in season. Out of season, we run it like normal, but when we're in season, especially high school age kids, we can adjust. Like if a guy has to wrestle the next day, he's probably not going to do the whole practice. He'd probably just do some drills and work. We kind of like play it by ear based on what kids need. And we start to push the youth more in this time of year and be there for the high school guys, but try not to like overdo it. Know that they have programs with coaches and they're working on stuff. But
Yeah, I just remember
I
I
would
just
say,
saw. Mhm. I was just saying,
what'd you say?
I was gonna say, I just saw Kingston. You're talking about the youth. I just saw he got fifth at Tulsa, so that was awesome. Shout out to
Yeah,
Kingston.
Kingston, he did. He had a good tournament. He did good. He wrestled tough. We had a Miles took second, and I think Gable took fourth. We had
Nice.
four guys go after that. Um,
Where's
but
that?
yeah, Kingston's getting better.
Is Kingston's
What's
dad?
say, Pat?
Is Kingston dad's like? Is he like the assistant coach at Mocco your wrestling club? I know he's there, always helping you out.
Yes.
Times I've been there,
Yeah, he
he's an
he helps out
awesome.
a lot. Yeah, Tommy's been great. Like he started when Kingston was younger. He's a good wrestler himself. He wrestles with Peter all the time. He wrestled with Michael a lot. He still wrestles with Michael sometimes. He's a great guy to have. He's a great coach, and he helps a lot with the youth.
Yeah, from the times I've been there, it's been practice, been awesome. I've been like once or twice, I think. And every time I go there, I know I got a good workout in front of me.
I love the fact that you're like, still competing at your age. You got the call to go to RAF and you're like, yeah, I'm going to do this. What would you say to some coaches? And I try to talk to people about this. What would you say to some coaches that are of competing age and have the opportunity to go and wrestle at like some summer open or to keep competing? What would you say to encourage them to like, hey, sign up, let your wrestlers see you go out there?
I mean, I think it's up to them. Like if they want to wrestle, to do it. I mean, I wouldn't. I like. There's a lot of guys that are great coaches that they'll compete, and there's a lot of great coaches out there that never competed at the level they coach at, and I don't think that they're parallel. Like you could be a great coach and a great aide without competing. Like I think me personally, I enjoyed it a lot. It was surreal. It was I don't know how to explain it. Like it was very it was very reminiscent of my competing days. You know what I mean? So that was like a fun thing. I say to kids all the time, especially if the parents that never wrestled before and they're kind of hard on the kids, it's good to try it to see what the kid's going through. So at least you can understand what he's going through, right? Like
Yes.
and some guys I asked if like, oh, you've never wrestled before, you should maybe try grappling, try a grappling class to understand like exactly what's going on. But you know, I definitely don't think everybody needs to compete, but if they feel the urge, I think like you only live once, you should scratch it, right? Like it's I'm on the like one of the best coaches I had was Jeff Buxton, and he competed, but like he was a phenomenal technician, a phenomenal coach. He was tough as hell, but like his level of coaching like was way different than him as a competitor because the times were different. You know what I mean as well. But he was a phenomenal guy. So like that's a good example of a guy who another really good coach I could think of off the top of my head was Ernie Monaco. His brother was like a very, very good wrestler, but he was a phenomenal coach. He studied the sport. Like I don't necessarily think you need to compete. If you feel the urge to compete, I think there's enough opportunity that you should scratch it, right? Like for sure. There's definitely positives to that as well. Just understand it and everything. But like Pat wrestling in the Pat had an awesome career. He wrestled from bantam all the way up internationally and college, right? Like obviously, like him competing is awesome for us to see Pat compete. But I mean, really, it's Pat's going to enjoy it as well. Like it's going to be an experience that he can look back on, positive or negative, and say this was awesome.